If you're single, look in the mirror. Hi, I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. This is a Christmas tree. And we're talking. So here's the thing. Most of my timeline in Instagram, Twitter, Threads, whatever, is filled with really, really bad advice when it comes to dating. However, there is virtually no advice on being single, which is weird because you'd think, I'm a single man, you'd think that would pop up more often. And then the timeline starts to fill, as though reading my mind, with really poor advice on how to chase women. And that's the key, is that the timeline started to fill with advice on how to chase women, pursue women, conquer women. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my subscribers, who I love and adore, some of you. I like some of you, I love and adore some of you. I can't love you all, that would be ridiculous, that would be absurd. If I loved you all, that would be just ridiculous and weird. You wouldn't want me to love you. Anyways, my timeline fills with this advice. And the advice is almost universally, you must demonstrate your worth to a woman because women want to be conquered. That's what they want. For those of you not watching the video, but who are listening to the audio, I did a little pause, and had a quizzical face on, because that's not terrifically great advice. It's great advice if you're Andrew Tate and you run an OnlyFans site, which is a whole different issue. We'll get into that in another podcast. Look, here's the thing. Being single, especially at this time of year, is tough. It just is. There's no good way around it. I've been single for the last few New Year's. And you'd think, you know what, New Year's, there's nothing special about New Year's, but there kind of is. I'm sorry. There just kind of is. It's tough. It's just frickin' tough. But I started this podcast off by saying, if you're single and you've never been married, that kind of stuff, the first person you got to look at is in the mirror. If you're single, it's not the fault of women. If you say, well, I'm a nice guy, why don't women like me? You are making a transactional assumption about women, a transactional assumption about the world, truthfully, that, oh, I'm nice, people should like me. The answer is no. That's not how the world works. Just because you are nice, you're not owed anything. But okay, we dismiss that. Nice guys don't finish last, but you're also not owed anything. Let's get that thought out of our head right now. So what do? We look in the mirror. Okay, what do I need to improve about myself? And you got to remember, you can't improve yourself for the sake of dating. That's where things get a little messed up. Let's start with the one basic form of self-improvement that people like. Working out. I love working out. I love going to the gym. It helps keep me healthy. It helps keep me strong. Helps me keep up with my younger brother, who is built like a Mack truck. At Form First Movement, I recommend you follow him. He is a wonderful trainer. He will put you in the best shape of your life, even if your body is racked with pain. I recommend him. Follow him. Work with him. He will help you. Lots of people start working out as a form of self-improvement when they go through a bad breakup. They say, well, I'm going to get back in shape and get back at them. I'm going to find the next person by being in shape. Self-improvement is also not transactional. In the same way that being nice is not transactional, self-improvement is also not transactional. You have to just do it because you want to do it. You can't do it because you think it will make the world give you something. The world doesn't give you things. That's not how it works. But Nick, you're a Christian. There's all sorts of Bible verses that say God gives us the desires of our hearts. Yes, but the desire of your heart is supposed to be God. The desire of your heart is supposed to be God. And I am the first person to say I'm terrible at following that particular part of the Bible. But the Bible is very clear. God gives us the desires of our hearts, but the desire of our heart is supposed to be in alignment with God, which means that the desire of our heart is supposed to be God. It's straight up and down. Nick, isn't that what? No, Nick, that can't be right. No, God's not a genie. He's not magic. All right? He could do everything in the world that he wanted to do, but he's not going to give you things that aren't good for you. He's just not. He's also, to be clear, he's also not going to cause bad things to you. He doesn't act transactionally. You did this bad thing, so you deserve this. No, that's not how it works. But the point is you aren't owed anything. And that's a painful truth to understand when it comes to like dating. I'm 33 years old. I'm a generally decent person. I'm not great. I'm a solid, probably 6.5 out of 10, I'd say. I'm solid 6.5 out of 10. I'll stick there. But I'm not owed anything. What does 6.5 out of 10 get me? It could get me everything. It could get me nothing. I don't know. I have to look at myself in the mirror and be honest about who I am as a person. And the first thing you realize when you look at yourself in the mirror is you have significant weaknesses. Everybody does. Everybody has their stuff. What's my stuff? I tend to be very shy. I like to do the things I like to do and not push my own boundaries. When I work out by myself. I go to acting class. I sit in my apartment and write. I eat. I watch Netflix. I read. All things that make me an excellent conversationalist, but not things that actually get me to having a conversation with somebody. I get advice like, oh, well, why don't you try like a singles group or something? Because I'm shy. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I just am. I don't want to go someplace by myself. I hate doing it. 10 years ago, Nick would have said, girls just refuse to acknowledge the fact that I'm a good person. In those 10 years, I've since learned. Saying that girls don't acknowledge the fact that you're a good person means you're not a good person. So I've improved. I was probably a 4 out of 10 then. I'm a solid 6.5 out of 10 now. These are important things to keep in mind. As you can see, I've been thinking about this deeply because my hair is everywhere. I've been in the lab cooking. Been cooking up these ideas for 10 minutes with Nick. Look, it's not as painful as you think to look in the mirror. You don't have to excoriate yourself, which is a word meaning rake yourself over the coals. You don't have to burn yourself or just put yourself down. That's not a thing. But you just have to be honest with yourself. You don't even have to say you have a plan to overcome your weaknesses. You just have to know them. My main weaknesses are that I'm shy. I tend towards shyness when I'm not performing. I don't like to do the things I don't like to do. It's hard for me to meet people. I have other weaknesses too, but I don't need to go into them on a podcast. Those are just the truth. Look, if you are also single this holiday season, I'm with you, rocking with you, working our way through it, and just don't worry about it. Focus on making yourself into the best version of yourself you can be. You'll never get rid of your weaknesses, but if you focus on the person in the mirror instead of the person you think will complete you, the mysterious person as yet unidentified who you think will complete you, you're going to make a lot more progress. That's what I got for you. Enjoy my Christmas tree. I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day.